Ladies and gentlemen, today I have with me a very special guest flying all the way from Pune to Delhi to attend this podcast of Candid with RMT, Advocate Sudhir Reddy. Welcome sir, welcome to Candid with RMT.
Thank you, Raghuman.
So, sir's journey has so far been very interesting. We're going to talk about it at length in our podcast. And starting out, sir, how was law school?
Law school was fun. I did my 3 years LLB from Ferguson, Pune. It was fun. It was a good learning experience. Made a lot of friends, got exposures through different moot courts, through different internships. Also, studying, mine was the third batch of my college. So it was a pretty new college. The kind of exposures and things the college was planning to implement really benefited all of us. It helped us a lot to gain an insight through the practical knowledge imparted by the college, by the different undertakings and the different projects that the college wanted us to be a part of. It was a good journey, it was a good learning experience.
So similarly, mine was the first batch of Cardiff University, and you're absolutely right, because होता क्या है जब first batch या second या third batch होता है ना, तो college के पास वो एक bandwidth होती है कि experiment कर सकते हो आप, college के students को आप वो छूट दे सकते हो कि हाँ भाई तुम जाओ करो, college का नाम आगे बढ़ाओ. So all that benefited me as well. In my law school, running these 4 WhatsApp groups and this WhatsApp community was all possible because of the networking that I did in law school. अपनी internships में, अपने moot courts में, अपने parliamentary debating में, अपने MUNs में, अपने youth parliaments में, ये हुआ ही possible इसी की वजह से था. So I think I would credit it a lot to my law school. Similarly, I think the kind of network that you were also able to amass was through law school only, because in those initial phases, it's very important that अगर आपने उस टाइम पे अपना एक नेटवर्क एस्टैब्लिश कर लिया, you don't know कि आपका वो बैचमेट कहाँ जाके मचा रहा है. So that is something that every law student should do. Through this podcast, I am repeatedly telling all those law students watching this, please go out and network as much as you can in those 5 years or 3 years, because those network is going to be your net worth. So keep that in mind. Moving on, sir, पुणे से निकले आप, कार्डिफ गए, उसके बाद ऑक्सफोर्ड गए. How was that experience? A cultural shift था कुछ?
Honestly, Cardiff was 2009-2010. I did my masters in international commercial law. It was a beautiful experience. Again, a beautiful learning curve which helped me gain a lot of international exposure. Again, networking in Cardiff while studying LLM played a very important role. And I went to Oxford to a private institute called Align Mediation to study my mediation in 2014. That again was very good exposure, and at that very point of time, IIADR as such, or mediation training in India, I'm talking about 2014, was a very new concept and was a very new area that people were not very sure of. But again, LLM was good. LLM karte time, I had an opportunity to undertake few extra classes from my uni affiliated programs, where I worked on my personality development, my legal analytical skills, and few other aspects. It was a very good exposure, and the best part about having an international exposure is you get to see different individuals from different countries, from different backgrounds. So just to give you an example, there were 2 or 3 international students. One was from Greece, the other one was from I suppose Paris. They were studying Masters of Law without having a law degree.
Wow.
They were having, they had a graduations from psychology and probably management, and then they were studying LLM to have that additional legal edge with their base graduation course that they took up. So LLM helped me a lot to gain that international exposure and that international vision that helped me eventually understand things how it can be implemented. A lot of new things which I learned over there, which I started when I came back to India after my masters. I tried implementing them, and that helped me a lot.
So for those students who are planning to make a career in litigation, is LLM a required prerequisite, or is it something that can be, done away with and just dive into litigation and go for that practice?
Honestly speaking, if you're planning to get into litigation, LLM is of going to be no use. I personally undertook the LLM program with a basic intention of gaining international exposure. A lot of students feel that going to universities outside India and pursuing LLM will help you fetch a job in that very country, but that's not the fact.
It's a misconception.
It's a very big misconception. Especially for students who are intending to get into litigation, my advice would be, please start doing your internships from the day one with the appropriate counsel or with the appropriate lawyer who is into mainstream litigation. And LLM technically is going to be of no use unless and until you plan to do your LLM and then do your further PhDs or get into teaching or get into academics. Then it makes sense. But for lawyers, for students who are planning to get into litigation, LLM is, according to me, will not help you unless and until you're doing it with a very basic intention of getting the exposure and understanding, and then coming back or whatever. Like even if you pursue your LLM here, it will give you that little added on knowledge of what you have already procured in your law school. But then technically LLM is not for students who are planning to get into litigation. Rather, that 1 year spent for LLM, 1-2 years spent for LLM would be better off if that time is spent practicing under a good lawyer.
Wise words, ladies and gentlemen, coming from a gentleman who's done his LLM and is into litigation. So keep that in mind. Coming to ADR, it was still at such a nascent stage. What inspired and motivated you towards growing the ADR culture in India? Having, starting founded IIADR.
IIADR, it stands for Indian Institute for Alternative Dispute Resolution.
Alright. So tell us about the journey.
So basically, since childhood, I can say that I had this knack of dispute resolution in me. Probably I was born with it, you can say. Because I've been helping a lot of my friends getting over their disputes, and while studying law, when I studied arbitration as a subject, it really fascinated me. It gave me an insight of something which is a new way of resolving dispute. Then I'm talking about way back in 2008, 2009 when I happened to study arbitration as a subject in my law school. And after passing out from my law school and pursuing my LLM, I got introduced to the concept of mediation. And mediation, arbitration, or the whole concept of ADR as such is the want of the time.
Absolutely.
So ADR, being the want of the time, it is a better mechanism of dispute resolution than the traditional court litigation. And it gives the party an utmost autonomy over the whole subject matter, the way they are going to deal with it.
Right, rightly said, sir. Moving on to managing a pan-India law firm at such a young age, how has that journey been, sir? Like, people your age are probably still working out their, professional trajectory in terms of how to go about things, and you have a solid network and a pan-India presence. So how does it work, sir?
So basically, 15 December 2010 is when I started with Reddy and Reddy. Earlier it was called Reddy & Reddy Advocates and Legal Consultants. In the year 2015 I changed it to Reddy & Reddy Law Firm. It has been a very rigorous journey. Let me be honest about it. It has not been an easy way out. I started with very basic and very small scale work. It has been difficult, it has been challenging, but it has also been very rewarding. I had to go through my ups and downs in the said journey. So when I actually started, so it's a Reddy & Reddy is a Pune based law firm, but we provide services pan India. I have a team of almost 20 lawyers based out of Pune and a network of almost 30-35 lawyers pan India. We take up matters all over India at different high courts, at different district courts, and even the Supreme Court and different tribunals. I believe that every lawyer should have the vision or the capability of looking beyond what is already in front of them. With that comes the zeal or the motivation of taking the next step and going ahead. It's not a race that I have with someone. It's kind of a race that I have set up for myself, where I'm competing with my own self and comparing my progress today to yesterday. And that has been the motto of my practice and my firm's practice, which has led me to where I am today.
So all those looking out for starting your own firm one day, always remember it's the small baby steps that one day make a huge ocean. So keep in mind not to start off with long leaps, because once you make those long leaps, you sort of lose the balance. Take those baby steps.
Baby steps are very much
and
essential.
Slowly and steadily, you will win the race.
And here I would like to put in one phrase that I have always based my ideology on. Rolling stone gathers no mass. You have to be consistent, you have to be dedicated. There's a lot of hard work, there's a lot of times where your patience is tested, but once you overcome that, then it starts getting rewarded. So stick on with it. You're going to have challenges, you're going to face difficulties, but beyond challenges and the difficulties comes a reward.
Right. Moving on to getting business. How does one first generation, and this is what I ask often my guests who are coming here, is how do you scout for clients? How do you get business? What is that first thing that a lawyer needs to do after getting his degree, after having those internships, working with those juniors? I'm starting my own practice today. What is the first thing I do? I make my website, I go out, I promote myself. We can't advertise as lawyers. What do you do, sir? How do you get clients?
Okay, to answer this question of yours, let me first explain what exactly is a client looking for in a lawyer.
Please, sir, please.
Maybe you, maybe me, maybe any lawyer practicing is going to refer to the same books, the same text. So the concept of hard work and intent comes into picture. Every lawyer is a hardworking lawyer. No lawyer is, there cannot be any lawyer who's not a hardworking lawyer. But every lawyer doesn't get the needed intent on table. The client is looking for intent. In my practice, in my journey, I have always focused on the intent more than the hard work, because there is no substitute to hard work. Hard work has to be there, but with hard work comes intent. With intent comes the outcome of the case. If you've put in the best of the intent in the matter through the entire litigation, the client is very well aware of what stones you've unturned to get him the desired outcome.
Right.
One satisfied client is going to get you 10 new clients. One unsatisfied client is going to talk bad about you, about your practice, to 10 other clients. So remember, satisfying your current clientele with the best of the intents is the first go-to thing for growing your practice. Second is, I would request all the young budding lawyers to attend as many as seminars, conferences possible, where you get an opportunity to network, to understand what are the different trends that are unfolding in the legal scenario, and also eventually every person is born with the capability of a level of communication. I feel client communication or client counseling is something which is not taught to you in your law school, but it is one of the very important factors for you, for any lawyer, once he gets into practice. And that aspect of client counseling, client communication can be very well understood, learned through seeing different seniors, talking, communicating with their clients, and then eventually using those tactics or those scenarios in your cases or in the situation that you are in, where you are dealing with your clients. Whatever I've said, I would like to add on, getting more clients should not be the ballgame. Satisfying the clients that you have should be your agenda, because as I said earlier, one satisfied client is going to fetch you 10 new clients without you doing anything. So it is something, so it's like you set something into action and motion, and that motion comes back to you with the rewards of new client.
Wow, very well put, sir, very well put. That is a lesson that all the young budding lawyers should take from sir and implement it, not just have it in theory but actually practically use this knowledge. Coming to a very interesting point, sir, legal tech, the future of law and technology combined, that nexus of technology and law, and getting those two together and forming something which is just unique. What do you feel, sir, कि legal tech अपने देश में आने वाले टाइम में कहाँ होगा, कैसे करेंगे, lawyers adapt करेंगे, नहीं करेंगे, clients legal tech को adapt करेंगे कि नहीं करेंगे, थोड़ा इस पे चर्चा करते हैं, sir.
Before I talk about legal tech, let me just talk about information technology.
Okay.
So legal tech is nothing, probably legal tech is something which we are looking at currently, but with the information technology booming, this was the same question this was the same apprehension which was put across globally, how information technology would be adapted by the societies, by different businesses. But as we saw, there was a big boom in information technology. With that came the boom of fintech, and the current scenario and the current demand of the global market is legal tech. Legal tech is the want of the time. Legal tech is something which is going to be booming in the next 5 to 8 years, not globally, not only in India but globally, and it is something that every lawyer would have to eventually depend on or be associated with. Now, you can just be in the legal tech industry, you can be a service provider, you can be a service procurer. It would depend on different aspects, but legal tech is something which is there to boom, because with the changing times today, most of the high court, the Supreme Court, the high courts have gone for e-filing. Even the district courts are implementing e-filing, and it's like the current time that we are living in requires that platform to be implemented and be depended on. Coming next 3 to 5 years, legal tech is going to be booming. There are already a few companies, international companies, who've created platforms, and there are a lot of Indian startups and Indian entrepreneurs who are looking at the whole legal tech industry in a manner which they can provide the best of the services or implement services which would ease the burden of a lawyer. So with legal tech coming into picture, it's going to be helping lawyers, law firm, the entire legal fraternity, and it's going to grow and scale up their presence, business and connectivity to the next level.
And with the especially influx of foreign law firms coming into India, I'm sure the technology of the legal fraternity has to be at par with the global standards.
True that.
So, I mean, that is something which is inevitable, I would say. So, coming to the next question, what advice do you have for young lawyers?
Okay, advice for young lawyers. Be hungry to gain exposure. Be hungry to put in the best of the efforts in whatever scenarios or whichever case you are involved in. Be hungry to gain or participate in different kinds of cases or different kinds of seminar, conferences, and be hungry for work. Please don't be greedy for money. In 2014, I had a privilege to give an interview to Super Lawyer. I had quoted one sentence I had quoted one sentence there. I would like to reiterate the same. There are 4 stages in every lawyer's life. First stage, no work, no money. Second stage, little work, little money. Third stage, good work, good money. And the fourth is the most beautiful stage. No work, only money. When I say no work, it's basically with the years of experience, you charge money to talk, to discuss, to share your experience. It's basically you're charging for your experience over the period of time when you're in the 4th stage. So I see a lot of young lawyers who are wanting to do good work, but they're expecting a lot of remuneration, or they're expecting heavy remuneration right in the beginning. Don't be greedy for money. Be greedy for good work. Be greedy for good learning experience. Be hungry for undertaking new matters, and don't restrict yourself to one particular area of practice. Be open to different areas of practice, which will give you an exposure and ideology of how things are done in different styles of practice. And I suppose that should be the way to look forward.
Also, be hungry to come on Candid with RMT one day.
True that.
So be hungry for that. Thank you so much, Advocate Sudhir Reddy. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.